Lumines 2 is a puzzle game that was released on the PlayStation Portable, PSP, in 2006. The game is developed by Q Entertainment and published by Buena Vista Games. It is the sequel to Lumines, which was released in 2004. In Lumines 2, players must rotate and move falling blocks of different colors to form squares of the same color. When a square is formed, it is cleared from the game board, allowing for more blocks to fall down. The game is set to an electronic music soundtrack, and each level features a unique background and set of blocks. Lumines 2 is one of the 10 difficult puzzle games on PSP because it requires a lot of skill and strategy to master. The game gets progressively harder as players advance through the levels, and the blocks fall faster and in more complex patterns. Players must also be able to think quickly and make split-second decisions in order to clear as many squares as possible before the game ends. With its challenging gameplay and addictive soundtrack, Lumines 2 is a must-play for anyone who loves difficult puzzle games. Crush is a puzzle game that was released on the PSP in 2007. In this game, you control a character named Danny, who has the power to crush the world around him, transforming the 3D environment. This unique mechanic allows you to navigate through levels and solve puzzles by changing the perspective of the world. Crush is considered one of the 10 most difficult puzzle games on PSP due to its challenging levels and complex mechanics. The game requires careful planning and problem-solving skills to progress through each level. The puzzles become increasingly difficult as you advance through the game, challenging your ability to think outside the box. In addition to its challenging gameplay, Crush also features a unique art style and an intriguing story. It's a game that requires as you progress through the strategy and a love for puzzles, making it a must-play for any puzzle game enthusiast on the PSP. Exit is a game on the PSP where you play as a rescue worker named Mr. ESC.
Whoops.
Your job is to help people escape dangerous situations by solving puzzles. The game has 100 levels with different challenges that require you to use your brain to figure out how to get from one side of the level to the other while avoiding obstacles and hazards. The levels get harder as you progress, requiring you to think creatively and use your problem-solving skills to save the people in need.
Anybody there?
One of the 10 most difficult puzzle games on PSP because the game requires a lot of thinking and strategy to complete.
Anybody there?
It is a great game for puzzle lovers who enjoy a challenge and want to exercise their brains. Mercury Meltdown is a puzzle game that was released on the PlayStation Portable, PSP, gaming console. The game involves guiding a blob of mercury through a series of increasingly complex mazes. Along the way, players must avoid obstacles and collect bonuses in order to progress to the next level. Mercury Meltdown is considered one of the top 10 difficult puzzle games on the PSP because it requires a high level of skill and strategic thinking to complete. The game's physics-based puzzles are challenging and require players to use logic and problem-solving skills to navigate the intricate mazes. In addition to the challenging gameplay, Mercury Meltdown also features colorful graphics and a catchy soundtrack that helps to keep players engaged. This game is a great choice for anyone who enjoys a good puzzle challenge and wants to test their skills on the PSP. Echochrome is a video game that challenges players to solve mind-bending puzzles by manipulating optical illusions in a 3D environment. Your goal is to guide a shadow figure through a series of platforms and obstacles by changing the perspective and orientation of the camera. The game features simple black and white graphics, a minimalist art style, and a calming soundtrack. Echochrome is considered one of the 10 most difficult puzzle games on PSP because of its challenging gameplay and unique mechanics. The puzzles require a lot of critical thinking and spatial awareness to solve. The game's optical illusions can be both intriguing and frustrating, as players need to see past what they think they know to find the solution. Despite its difficulty, Echochrome provides a satisfying sense of accomplishment when puzzles are solved, making it a great choice for puzzle enthusiasts the Warlords looking for a puzzle game that combines elements of role-playing games and strategy games. Players must match colored gems on a game board to gain mana for spells or skulls to attack their opponent. The game features a story mode where players must complete quests and battle various enemies to become the ultimate warlord. This game is considered one of the 10 difficult puzzle games on PSP because it challenges players to think strategically and make quick decisions. The game board is constantly changing, requiring players to adapt to new situations and come up with creative solutions. Additionally, the game features a complex leveling system where players must manage their characters' skills and equipment to progress through the game. Overall, Puzzle Quest Challenge of the Warlords is an engaging and challenging puzzle game that will keep players entertained for hours. Me and My Katamari is a puzzle game for the PSP where players control a character who rolls a sticky ball called a Katamari to pick up various objects in order to make it larger. The game features different levels with various challenges where players must collect a certain number of specific objects or reach a certain size within a given time limit. The game is considered one of the 10 difficult puzzle games on PSP because it requires players to strategize and plan out their moves carefully in order to efficiently collect objects and reach the required size. As the Katamari grows, it becomes harder to maneuver, making it important for players to be precise and avoid obstacles. Additionally, some levels have specific requirements that make them harder to complete, such as collecting objects in a specific order or avoiding certain objects. Overall, Me and My Katamari offers a challenging and unique puzzle experience for PSP players. Pipe Mania is a challenging puzzle game where the player must connect pipes to create a path for the flowing liquid to reach its destination. The game is played on a grid, and the player must rotate and place pipes in the correct position to create an uninterrupted pipeline. The game becomes progressively more difficult as the player advances through the levels, with more complex grids and faster flow rates to navigate. Pipe Mania is considered one of the top 10 difficult puzzle games on PSP due to its challenging gameplay mechanics and the need for strategic planning. Players must use their problem-solving skills to overcome increasingly complex puzzles, requiring a combination of logic and quick thinking. The game also has a time limit, adding an extra layer of difficulty to the gameplay. Overall, Pipe Mania is a fun and challenging game that will test even the most skilled puzzle gamers. PQ Practical Intelligence Quotient is a puzzle game that was released on the PSP. The game consists of a series of puzzles that challenge players to use their problem-solving skills and critical thinking abilities. The puzzles range in difficulty from easy to very difficult, with each level testing different aspects of a player's intelligence. The game is considered one of the 10 most difficult puzzle games on PSP because of its challenging gameplay and complex puzzles. The game requires players to think creatively and logically to solve each puzzle, making it a stimulating and engaging experience. Additionally, the game's graphics and sound design create an immersive environment that adds to the overall challenge and enjoyment of the game. In summary, PQ Practical Intelligence Quotient is a difficult puzzle game that challenges players to use their intelligence and problem-solving skills to solve complex puzzles. It is considered one of the top 10 most difficult puzzle games on PSP due to its challenging gameplay and immersive environment. Super Collapse 3 is a puzzle game that was released for the PSP in 2007. The game is played by matching 3 or more colored blocks to make them disappear. The game is challenging because it requires strategic planning and quick thinking to clear the board before it fills up with blocks. One of the reasons why Super Collapse 3 is considered one of the top 10 difficult puzzle games on PSP is because the game has a variety of different game modes and difficulty levels. The game also introduces new block types and power-ups as the player progresses, making the game even more challenging. Players must use their problem-solving skills to figure out the best way to clear the board and earn the highest score possible. The game is easy to learn but difficult to master, which is what makes it so addictive and challenging. In summary, Super Collapse 3 is a challenging puzzle game that requires strategic thinking and quick reflexes to succeed. With its variety of game modes and difficulty levels, it has earned its place as one of the top 10 difficult puzzle games on PSP.